Hello and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that flips and flops more than a dead fish. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 41, Vets and New Threats, Episode 5. We're already 5 episodes deep within this season, and now that the game is in a post-Bananas era, it feels more like the Wild Wild West. And there's a lot of unknowns spiraling in the game, as we hear at the very beginning of this episode, with the rookies in one bus, the vets in the other bus as they're coming back to the challenge house from the elimination. Olivia says that the only real bad thing about Bananas leaving this early is that there is no unifying enemy for the rookies to all go after and be tunnel focused on. Now everything is completely wide open, and who will be the next target? It's kind of foreshadowing hearing Olivia talk about who will be the next target, because back at the challenge house, we do get a rookies meeting between Jeremy, Dee, Lekka, Cedric, Will, Leo, where all of the guys are worried about Olivia. They're worried because she has a great social game. She has great numbers. She is very connected in the house with strong number ones and strong ties and the UK alliance. These rookies in this meeting are wanting to keep their eyes very close on Olivia. Now, this rookie meeting gets halted because Anissa gets caught sneaking around and trying to listen in. Sure, it's not fun to have a party crasher, but if it had to be anybody, luckily it's Anissa, because they don't seem that concerned that Anissa is walking around listening in and being sneaky. Anissa has talked about wanting to play the middle of the fence in the game, but realistically she's like pinballing back and forth between both sides of the house, and it's gonna catch up to her. And it's gonna be very detrimental to her game and how long she stays within this game. One more bit of news that we have to cover before heading into this week's daily challenge is that Cara Maria gets a phone call from back home from her aunt telling her that things at home are not looking good. Cara Maria tells CT that she is pulling herself from the game, that she has to go back home. We hear from Leo's confessional that it has to do something with her mom. And going back through her social media around April 1st, Cara Maria posted a video talking about how, unfortunately, her mom passed away due to cancer. Everyone in the game is super friendly with Cara Maria, giving her hugs, wishing her well as CT is just a really great friend. He's asking Cara Maria if she needs him to come along with her, go back home with her, be there for her, and be willing to put his game aside to be there for her. But she decides that she's going to leave by herself, wants CT to stay, and I wish Cara Maria and her family the best during this difficult time and difficult period in dealing with a passing of a very close loved one. But now it's time for everybody to don their challenge gear, head down to a field to meet up with TJ for this week's daily challenge, except for, what's the deal with Leo? He's by himself. Is he going to be the hangnail? Oh no, instead TJ announces that an all-star will be taking Cara Maria's place and being Leo's partner effective immediately. And who is it? It is John A. And in her confessional, she talks about how 24 hours ago, she was making lunches for her kids to go to school, and now she is here in Chile, teamed up with Leo for this week's daily challenge called Dirtballer. This daily challenge is sponsored by the new upcoming movie, Him, that's hitting theaters in mid-September. We get a sneak peek of the movie, as well as Marlon Wayans gets to do a little bit of an intro for the movie as well. Since this daily challenge is based around a movie about football, you know that there's going to be footballs involved in this daily challenge. What the pairs are going to have to do is dig up these 3 poles and then carry them from one side of the field to the other. They're going to have to construct a makeshift field goal post and then use their football that they're carrying around to kick a field goal. The fastest pair gets first place, 8 performance points, as well as wins safety and wins power to save any pair that they would like from the voting ceremony. Now, this daily challenge was very, very difficult, from people not knowing how to use shovels to carrying these giant poles in this hot sun, people unable to kick footballs, and it took over 2.5 hours for everyone to officially get this daily challenge completed. Now, I mentioned John A. Her and Leo were not working well with each other at all. There was no teamwork, there was no communication, and it's kind of like, duh, they weren't working well with each other because they barely said like 2 sentences before getting thrown into this daily challenge. Derek and Izzy were not working well. Derek felt like he was doing everything by himself, trying to teach her how to shovel and then trying to shovel it himself. It just seemed like a big mess. For a second week in a row, Ashley was not working well with her rookie partner. Jeremy was doing his best. Ashley was just getting frustrated. At a certain point, it seemed like Jeremy broke his shovel, which is not a good sign. Nani and Justin got off to an early lead because there was a lot of teams that decided that they were going to dig up all 3 poles and then start moving them, whereas Nani and Justin dig up their 1 pole and decide that they're gonna move it right away. CT and Sydney, Michaela and Jake seemed to be working well. By the time they got all 3 of their poles out, they started moving them across. Adrian and Turbo were also working very well with each other. We get to the point where most of the teams are starting to transfer their poles. They are setting them up in their dirt pits to make their goalpost. And lo and behold, Michaela and Jake crushed this. Both are very strong competitors. Jake had worked in construction, so he knew how to work with a shovel. So they were like a well-oiled machine just getting this done. That makes Michaela getting back-to-back challenge wins, 16 total points between last episode and this episode. Absolutely incredible. Second place was Turbo and Adrian. Third place was Aviv and Will. Fourth place, Gabe and Lekka. I mean, I'm not surprised that Gabe and Lekka absolutely beasted this out because they are both very strong competitors, and I just really was impressed by the first rookie team doing so well, getting 4th place. In 5th place is Anissa and Cedric, 6th place America and Leroy, 7th Sydney and CT, and 8th place is Ashley and Jeremy. The 3 teams in the bottom 8 that weren't doing so hot was first Ben and Olivia. They didn't seem to be gelling very well. It felt like the physical exertion and exhaustion just was getting to the both of them by the end of this task of putting their goalposts together. Ben elected to kick first since he talked about how he had a football background, but he just could not get this ball high. And really only 1 or 2 from the edit looked like it got close to the crossbar or crossing the crossbar. Everything else was low and into the dirt. So after what looked to be 16 attempts, 16 plus attempts, Olivia decided that she is going to try it out. And what looked to be in the first attempt that Olivia had, she kicks this thing and crushes it through the upright, saving them from getting last place. The 2 teams that were in the bottom, no surprise here, were the 2 Dereks and their partner. You have D and Derek C, and Derek K and Izzy. It was a nail biter coming down to the final second where Derek was getting set up for his kick. Derek C and D were running behind them, retrieving their ball, getting set up as quickly as possible as it was coming down to a field goal duel. Both of them lined up at the exact same time. Derek K got it slightly within the upright, and Derek C wasn't close. At the end of the day, Derek C and D came in last place, and Derek will be going directly into this week's elimination. This is where we get to the bar scene, and Derek C decides that he wants to swing for the fences. He wants to go up either against Jeremy or Will. After he tells them his grand plan, he decides that he's going to go give Ashley a heads up, and he tells her that I want to go up against either Jeremy or Will. And Ashley has red alarms going on in her mind. You want to go up against Jeremy. First of all, this man is chiseled. And you want to go up against Jeremy in an elimination, as well as if somehow you do go into elimination, win against Jeremy. Now, I'm the hangnail. And guess what? That puts a big old target on my back. Derek seems to not care. He wants to go up against who he wants to go up against, but Ashley is kind of freaking out. And she takes this back to the challenge house, talking to CT, Theo, and Aviv, being like, they're coming after me. I'm on the bottom of everybody's alliance. I'm nobody's friend. What ultimately saves Ashley in this moment is a slightly intoxicated Olivia, at least it sounds like she had a few drinks, where Olivia tells everybody that, look, if I were to go in there and somehow I become the hangnail, I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm just gonna go in there and just do what I gotta do. It sounds like Olivia has heard Ashley worry so much about this whole scenario that Olivia is over it. Now this circulates through the house very quickly. Olivia the next morning does some backtracking a little bit, trying to tell everybody and clarify what she was trying to say. She's not volunteering that she wants to be the hangnail, but she's just saying that if she were put in that position, she wouldn't worry about it, she wouldn't cry about it. The problem is you can't say that and not expect people to want to vote you in. And what's really, really bad about this is that I feel like Olivia is getting too comfortable in the game. She's not thinking before she's speaking in a large group. And the worst thing about this is she's not just putting her game on the line, she's putting Ben's game on the line. Ben has done nothing. Ben didn't get into an argument with anybody. Ben didn't put a target on his own back. Olivia did that for him. This is a guy's day, and Olivia just threw Ben under the bus for no reason whatsoever, which I think is garbage. I really am frustrated that Olivia decided to say that and put herself on the line, but mainly putting Ben on the line. It's unfair to Ben, but we still had the voting ceremony, which was very, very close. The first round of votes came in, and it came out to 5 Jeremy, 5 Ben, 1 Gabe, and 1 Justin. Those 2 votes on Gabe and Justin, you have Gabe voting for himself because he doesn't want to make a decision. Bad look overall. I mean, this entire episode, people were trying to vie for Gabe's friendship, Gabe's loyalty, and at the end of the day, he couldn't pick either side at that point. He didn't want to say anybody's name. In the grand scheme of things, it's better to pick a side now and go with it. Anissa used a burn vote on Justin because she didn't want to vote between either Olivia or Ashley. But we get to a revote where everybody has to vote either for Ben or Jeremy. Nobody else can get a vote besides those 2. So when it comes back around, Anissa votes for Jeremy and Ashley, which Ashley gets very frustrated because she's rooming with Anissa. Anissa has said a lot of stuff about being in the vet's corner, I got your back, we're friends, but then choosing Olivia over Ashley. And I can just see that argument between Anissa, Ashley, and Nani colliding very, very soon, mainly because of these votes at the voting ceremony. Again, it's not a good look. Then you come down to Gabe and Lekka, and Gabe can't say anything. He just shuts down, doesn't want to say anybody's name, and he just sits there, and Lekka has to make the decision for them, chooses Ben and Olivia. It comes down to a 6-6 tie, which I thought TJ was going to say, okay, well, since it's a tie, Michaela and Jake, the winning pair, gets to now pick who wants to be sent into the elimination between Ben or Jeremy. However, TJ says, I got a coin in my pocket and I'm gonna flip it. I was not expecting that at all, keeping Michaela and Jake's hands very, very clean. TJ flips the coin, and lo and behold, Ben is going directly into the elimination against Derek C. And Derek Chavez is thanking his lucky stars that Ben was the one voted in, because this week's elimination, also sponsored by the movie Him, is called Him Collider, which is an Oppenheimer variant. Oppenheimer was an elimination played back in season 25 Free Agents, which was a circle hall brawl. The players have to carry around footballs with them as they try to run around the circle and plop in their footballs into the basket. The best 2 out of 3 wins this elimination, gets to stay in the game, and gets 2 tickets to the premiere of Him, the movie. I felt like it could have been anybody's game. I do like that it was Derek versus Ben, as they were roughly the same height, same weight. Derek has more experience as he has done a hall brawl-esque type of elimination before. This is Ben's first elimination, but he has an athletic career in very physical activities like bare knuckle boxing and football. In round 1, there was very minimal contact between Derek and Ben. Derek does get a hit on Ben. Ben, as he's running to the basket, starts to fall and trip, and he actually falls, and Derek is able to get the first round 1-0. In round 2, there was actually a decent size hit, mainly by Derek. He lowers his shoulder, gets more of Ben's body, and Ben falls backwards, and Derek falls on top of him, is trying to crawl over Ben. He does get up. He stumbles as he's trying to run as fast as possible, make up ground, but Derek is able to drop in his football. I felt like it was a little bit anticlimactic, and Ben is eliminated. Now, good on Derek for winning, and Ben could have saved himself if he could have won 2 rounds in this elimination. But at the end of the day, it's still pretty frustrating that for all of this to come down because Olivia made an offhand comment is why Ben got sent in. It's just so unfortunate for Ben to be put in this situation and to be sent home. Again, he was barely in this episode and he was the one thrown into elimination. Come on now, that is rookie type of stuff to be saying that kind of thing in front of everybody. Now, I know that Olivia hasn't been playing for very long, but she is in a really good position in this game, and she kind of just put her spot in jeopardy for no reason. Now, I will say, at the end of the day, this actually helps the vets quite a bit. Olivia getting her and Ben voted into this week's elimination, I feel greatly saved Derek C. If he would have gotten who he wanted, which was Jeremy, he would have been sent packing. So in a roundabout way, Olivia actually greatly helped her side as well as the veteran side getting the second rookie to be eliminated from the game. But at what cost? It could help her out in the long run, but in the moment, it just looks like a really, really bad, kind of dumb move. But that's how the game goes. Olivia, as mentioned, is the hangnail, and we get to the selection process. Michaela's up first. She picks Jeremy. Jake is up and picks John A. Adrian picks Derek Chavez. Turbo picks The Tay. Aviv chooses Cedric. Will chooses Ashley. Lekka chooses CT. Gabe picks Anissa. America picks Derek K. Leroy picks Izzy. And then we have a bit of a shuffling here because we have Sydney having to be paired up with Leo as another rookie pairing. Nani has to work with Theo, and Justin and Dee are the last 2 left, and they have to be paired with each other. Now, something that I did not mention, which makes things a little bit awkward, Nani and Theo, is that at the voting ceremony, Theo decides to call out any player that had played 10 plus seasons and have yet to win, saying that their votes were because they were scared and they should vote for a big, strong team. AKA, he wanted people to vote for Jeremy and Ashley, and because people who would not vote Jeremy and Ashley, he was deeming that they were making bad game decisions, and no wonder they have not won in 10 plus seasons or at all in their challenge career. Nani was like, say some names. And Theo said, well, I don't really have to say names because everybody can tell who I'm talking about, which I think is a cop-out. I think Theo should have just said names and be like, I'm talking about you and Anissa. And now Nani and Theo are paired up with each other. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a wild, wild episode. And this episode kind of made me feel like the floodgates had opened. Because I was actually worried after last week's episode that Bananas is gone without this big tension between Bananas and Olivia. What would happen? I was worried that Olivia's side was going to get bigger and bigger and more powerful. It was just going to be this big alliance, kind of taking over the game and just nominating people on the other side and taking them out one by one. But it seemed like with Bananas gone, it actually opens up the entire game to where anybody can be a target. And we see that so quickly now that Olivia became the next target after Bananas. So I think this could be very, very interesting. What could happen? The preview to next episode looks wild and very dramatic, which I'm very much looking forward to. I can't believe we have to wait another week for the next episode because I think it's going to get really, really good. But that is it for this review and recap. What did you think about this episode? Please let me know in the comment section below. What did you think about the daily challenge? What did you think about the elimination? Will you see the movie Him in theaters? Let me know that as well down in the comment section below. What do you think about Olivia making that comment about her being okay with being the hangnail and putting a huge target on Ben's back? Do you kind of feel that Olivia was getting back at Ben for his performance in the daily challenge, or do you think that that was just an offhanded comment that she said after a few glasses of wine at the bar? Let me know anything and everything you felt about this episode down in the comment section below. And I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge 41 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, Peace.